Well, as we know, it was brutally cold in areas this week, and if you were snowed in, it was a great time to take it easy, relax, and maybe read a good book. You can find great reads at one local library, but you could wind up in another country while making your selection. We tell you why as we travel the countryside this weekend with Andrew McCrae.
In the early 1900s, one resident living here along Vermont's border with Quebec, Canada, had a desire to do something for her community.
Martha Stewart, a very wealthy lady, in her 70s decided she wanted to do something for the two communities. Up to this point, she had a library in her home that she shared with friends.
Catherine Converse says Martha Stewart Haskell set aside money to build a library and theater, all in one building here. By 1905, the theater and library were open and serving patrons who lived on both sides of the border. A walk through this building reveals beautiful wood, glass, and tin work.
This room was the men's reading room.
Okay.
It was the largest. The men were smoking in here.
And the theater, housed within the same building, boasts great acoustics and charm for those who come to watch many types of performances. But the view from outside this building reveals something unique. What appear to be just large stones in the surrounding yard and concrete barriers in the adjoining street are actually an international border. A border that runs through the middle of this building and a line that is not as easily crossed as when the library was built.
At that time, the international border was not a closed border, which it is now. So at the time, it was just family. Your mom lived on one side of the street and you built a house on the other side of the street, and you were in two countries, but nobody cared, nobody knew the difference, and it was not an issue.
But over time, especially after September 11th, 2001, border security became a bigger issue.
We were grandfathered so that our Canadian clientele could park on the Canadian side, take the sidewalk into the library, and go back the same way.
There are no entrances on the Canadian side of the building. Meanwhile, U.S. citizens enter through a door in Vermont, but once inside can wind up in a different country when inside the walls.
Once they cross these little tape lines that we put in there, they're in Canada. But they cannot go outside and cross onto the Canadian side without going through customs and immigration.
Once inside, patrons can find books in both English and French, since those on the Canadian side are from French-speaking Quebec. Locals may not give the arrangement much thought as they are used to living on the border, but the library has become a place that many from near and far love to visit.
A lot of local people don't realize how special this place is. I know when I first came up here, I didn't. But we have I had people from Tokyo, people from Africa, people all over the world who have found this and just decided they were going to make this part of their trip to the U.S.
But don't be fooled. This peaceful setting is being monitored very carefully, with border patrol cars from either country likely to be spotted outside. In fact, we had to stay on the U.S. side of the border while filming outside the building, but once inside, could cross the tape line and enter into Canada while looking at the library and theater. This is a special place that Catherine loves to share with others.
I've been doing this for 20 years, and for an old English teacher, this is a labor of love. I mean, I love being in the stacks where the books are. I love organizing.
This is not only a place where people come to read and check out books, but also a place visitors from around the world come to see a beautiful library on an international border. Traveling the countryside in Stansted, Quebec, and now in Derby Line, Vermont. I'm Andrew McCrae.
Thanks, Andrew. And you can hear more of his travels on the Farm Journal YouTube page. Well, up next, the Consumer Electronics Show took over Las Vegas this week. But what ag tech was on display? We give you a first-hand look next.